everyone, welcome to ADEX Pixar Virtual Expo on the very last day of World Ocean Week. It's a week of amazing content from in celebration towards a plastic-free ocean, and also the week where we actually celebrate the beauty of the ocean. So today we do have here a very, I don't know, I think he's a very hardworking underwater photographer to me, I feel, because seeing his pictures is very inspiring. So we have here online with us is all the way from Germany is Tobias Friedrich. Tobias, hi.
Hi, Nora. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Not too bad. I mean, it's a beautiful rainy day in Singapore. And how about in Germany?
Yeah, in Germany we have quite good weather today. Actually, it was very rainy also the last days, but now it's much better.
Okay, I shall not introduce Tobias as much because I think we all have seen his work in some really major underwater photography competition. He has done like a lot of beautiful works. But today, especially for us, he's going to teach us how to do Lightroom preset. So I shall not wait. I shall not wait any more further because I'm excited to learn more about it as well. Tobias, over to you.
Yes, so thank you very much for the very nice introduction, Nora. And yes, I try to work as much as I can, of course, as an underwater photographer. And because I couldn't work so much or travel so much, obviously, in the last 3 months, then I have to also do some other things, but I take the opportunity to work on projects which I have been planning for a long time already, like a new website, which is coming soon as well, and also like the Lightroom presets, which I had on mind as a project for a year already, and never had the time to really sit down and take the effort to create some. But Lightroom presets are, I think, an underestimated tool for every photographer, actually, to quickly just work on your images and to see and to get a first result. I know that Lightroom presets are not magic. Yeah, they can't do magic. You always have to think a bit by yourself as well about what you do on your pictures. But the good thing is about Lightroom presets, it should just be a first suggestion and a just first rough development, a first rough post-production, so they can see what's possible with your picture and then go on from that point on. Yeah, so it can either be for people who maybe don't have so much experience yet in Lightroom. It's very helpful, I think, to get a first set of settings throughout your images, or also for the more professional ones to just have a more time efficient way especially while traveling and everything is busy and you come back for diving and then it's dinner and so on and so on. Yeah, so you want to post-produce your images very quickly and maybe show them to your people during the dinner or so, yeah, on your laptop, on your iPad or whatever. Yeah, so it can be always very helpful also to be like time efficient. And yeah, so I'm just will explain a little bit on what we can do with the Lightroom presets. Everybody who's watching, you can ask questions here in the Nora. There's also a live stream in Facebook, right? At the moment, I can't hear you. Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yes, we do have a live streaming on ADEX, the official ADEX Facebook, and also on the website. So, but feel free to drop any comments or questions to Tobias with regards to Lightroom, because he is here after all to impart his knowledge to us. So most probably we'll be able to enter competition and win some stuff. So, so basically, yeah, just feel free to post away. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you have any questions, just feel free to send them in the comments, and maybe Nora can have a look on them, and maybe also ask some questions in between. And I will also try afterwards to look for all the comments and see if there are any open questions or not. But also, you can always write me an email or something if you want to know more about presets, or in general, if you want to have a chat. So I'm sharing my screen now. It just worked quite good. So I hope you can see my screen. Nora, is that good? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, good. Thank you. So this is the general library in Lightroom. If you're having problems to view my whole screen, there should be, like, on the right and on the left, there should be a column. If you don't see it, you can also expand your screen a little bit. If you're in Zoom or also on Facebook, if you don't see everything, just go on full screen. Or like bend your or stretch your window so that you can actually see the whole screen. That is important, of course. So we are here in the library module. This is where all your pictures are stored in Lightroom. So you import them from your camera or from the hard disk where it's already stored, and then you can create some collections if you want to. I just created here some collections for different topics. Of course, you can also switch to all photographs to see everything here in the catalog. But we want to concentrate now, for example, on the wide angle smart collection here in this point. And for example, if you want to work on one of the images, you click on it and then you go to the develop module here in the right corner. This is where you develop all your things, where you have your basic settings, tone curves, HSL for the colors, yeah, lens corrections, calibration, and so on and so on. So many settings, yeah, also here for the fine tuning on the top. There's a lot of stuff to do. I'm going to close it here because we don't need that at the moment. And I guess also for the beginning, this is really not easy to learn what all this means. So what is really good is that you can install on your Lightroom, Lightroom Classic and all versions. These Lightroom, the presets are actually valid for all the versions of Lightroom. So also the older versions, there is an there are different files in the package, which are also valid for the older versions, obviously. And there's also an install guide on how to install these presets for every version. This is the newest version of Lightroom. And this is, for example, I'm explaining it here. You have here, if you don't see that on your develop tab, there's a little triangle which you just have to press and then it will be open. You can also just go over it. It will open automatically and also close. I like to work with the presets with this permanently open. And then you have here a small selection again of the presets. There are also some favorite and also some others from Lightroom already pre-installed. You can manage them if you click here on the little plus sign. There you can also manage the... Yes?
I can't see the preset though.
You can see what?
The presets that you are doing.
You can't see this?
No, we cannot see the keys.
Just stretch your screen a little bit, I think, yeah? My screen where you can see me, just stretch it a little bit more with the corners, and then you can open it up, and then you will see the left and the right. No?
Nope.
No, still cannot.
Okay. Maybe if I change the... Can you see it now? The aspect ratio of my screen?
No.
No? Okay, then we have to stop again. Then I will try to share my whole screen. So once again, I'm sorry about this. So what about now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So here on the left side, there are the presets. As I just explained here, you can open it up and close it here over the little triangle. And here you can also manage them, yeah? So you go on manage presets, and there are also a lot of these standard presets from Lightroom, which are pre-installed, which I already unchecked. So I don't want to have too much here on the left. So you can check and unmatch and uncheck very quickly. So and select what you want to have. But you can also create, but also import presets here via this button. So you just click on import, select the files and import them. I don't do it now because I already have them here and I would have them twice, but it's super simple process, as also in the installation guide. And then you will have a bunch of presets here in these folders, which you can also open up. These are the wide angle presets and also the macro presets here. And you just go through, and you can see all the presets here listed. So you can see there are a lot of things. And the presets are built like this, that if you hover over a preset, you can also already see the preview in your right picture. So on the main screen, you will already see what that specific preset is doing if you just hover over it with the mouse. If you go to the screen, then you can see it's undoing the change. So it's not set yet. Only if you click on the setting, then you will have it done. But with these presets, it's very easy. You can do as much changes as you want and really totally build up the image. And if you don't like it at the end, you just go to the first reset settings, which will reset everything back to the standard image which you had before. Yeah, so you can play around with these settings a lot, and you don't have to mind if you destroy anything or not, but because you can always go back to the first version. So these presets are modular based. So you go through the module step by step and number by number. So you can see here, first is the exposure setting, second is the white balance setting, and so on. Yeah, so you go number by number through these settings to build up your image. There are two ways actually how you can build a preset package. A lot of landscape photographers, for example, are using the presets to make an image already finished when you click on and give it a look when you only click on the image. Or you can also do them modular based like I did, because the problem is underwater images are usually much more complex to work on. But if you go modular based through your image, then you have still the chance to individually work on your image, but without going into the much detailed see on the right side in Lightroom. Yeah? So it's very quick, but also very exact on your image, which I wanted to do as well, but very well explained. I hope so that nothing goes wrong. So I'm going through here for this example, for example, and you can see it's quite, the first one is to correct the exposure. But this picture is already quite good exposed for now. So I don't need to change much here, maybe a little less exposure because we have a little bright ceiling. So maybe I go minus 0.25 here, and then it's already good looking. But and in the next module, like here in the white balance, you can choose how you want to have your image, how you want to white balance your image, basically. Yeah, so you can go from a very cool tone from Ice Age to super warm to Sahara. I just call it here as a small joke, but you can also select very warm. Off, it would be as shot in the camera. I also have an auto setting, like how Lightroom would calculate the white balance, or also daylight as a comparison. It's set on 5200 as a color temperature. So for this example, I think it's somehow good. Maybe not very cool. Cool is also nice. Maybe I go for cool here, a little bit more cooler colors. That's nice. So you can just hover over this module to see whatever you like most, and then click on it, and then you're already done with this module. The next one here is the 0.3, which is super important, or which is the most important step. You can already see it here when I switch it. It gives a lot of different settings actually in the right menu, which you won't see, for example, like the lens correction. So if I click on the first setting here, it already removes some chromatic aberrations. So all these tick boxes, what you should tick in your right menu where you develop your image, are already ticked once you clicked this wide angle preset. So very easy, super simple. Yeah, you don't have to worry about chromatic aberrations anywhere, or to have it really checked here or not, and to just hover over it to see what you like. And the first setting with the underwater wide angle gives you like a clean view, also like a slight HDR view here to push a little bit the shadows, and also to downgrade a little bit the lights for this example. And you can here select how much contrast actually you want to have. Yeah, so the further Lightroom presets are a little bit, okay, how much contrast you want to have in that image. Yeah, so I would say here, the second contrast is really nice. So I click on here, it gives a little bit more contrast. Maybe the third one is also cool. A little bit dark now, so you can always go back to the exposure and say, I want it, instead of having it to 0.25, I rather want to have it like it was on neutral, or like the picture was developed. So this is very easy. You can always go back to exposure, also to white balance, to see even after you clicked on the module 3 on the water wide angle contrast, you can always go back to white balance or to exposure to even work a little bit on this. Yeah, so this is, usually you go from the top to the bottom through the Lightroom presets, but you can always go back and say, I want to change this again or that again. It would not affect the setting of module 3, for example. Additionally to this, I also have 3, like a little bit more advanced presets, which are the pastel colors, the dramatic ambience, or also the blue haze. I just called it like this to just give some more creative filters here. They go much further in color calibration and also in HSL, and all the different colors are picked separately to give like a little look. For example, this pastel look colors give like a little bit more matte tone to it. Yeah, it can look very nice to images, as well as like a dramatic ambience if you want to really pop out your image. Yeah, for example, for Instagram or for something else, this really pops it out. For example, if you like this setting and if you say, okay, cool, this is really nice, but maybe it's a bit too much for me, then you can always go back into the settings and just like, for example, go lower on the vibrance or on the saturation. Whatever you want to do, you can always go here in the fine tuning on the right side and then change it. So it's very nice. Also here, you can shut it off if it was too much for you, for example, yeah, or also always go back, of course, in the reset all settings if you say that is not maybe what you want. Okay, we were here on the setting. Basically, I just clicked it, and then you can select at the next step the saturation of your image. Yeah, so like here, it's I think okay saturated, but if you want to have a little higher saturation, you can easily click on it here, or also lower if you say, okay, it's too much saturated, I don't want it, just click on here. It's also possible, of course, if you're already in the dramatic ambience, you can also always go here on the setting and say, okay, that's a bit too much, I go here. For this image, I maybe push it the saturation a little bit. I maybe want to post it on Instagram or somewhere else, and then it really, really nicely comes out and pops out on Instagram with the colors, especially on the little thumbnail. The next module is a really tricky thing. Is if you're not satisfied with the background color of your image. And this only works here for blue background, for example. So if you have a black background or a greenish background, it wouldn't work. It only works in a tone like this. But if you're not happy, if you say, this color could be a bit darker maybe, yeah, or also like maybe a bit brighter, you can easily go here. I'm just hovering over with the mouse to see until I like it. Maybe, I mean, the color of the background was already pretty nice, but maybe I want to have like a little bit brighter here, so I go on plus. But you can also go to the extreme, to very dark, or also to very bright if you feel like. And the last 2 modules are more about the finishing of the image. So you do want to have some noise reduction, for example, if you, for example, are on higher ISO speeds, yeah, in dark waters, you push your ISO, it's a little bit noisy, then put your noise reduction on normal or in high. But for all other images, maybe you don't need it at all, so you can keep it on off, or I click on low because it's a little bit of grain will then be kept away. And the last part is the sharpening. Usually you also need only low if your image is nice and crisp, but you maybe sometimes want to sharpen it a little bit more, but you can also, of course, all the time put it off. So I always go to sharpening on low, and then you can already see where I'm quite finished with the image. Maybe a little too bright here on the top, so I can always go back and say, okay, I want to have like a little filter maybe here for the top, and just push it down a little bit so you can already see, okay, that's nice. We don't have a really bright spot here anymore. So very easy, but if you go and compare to the first version, then you can already see what a difference that is with just a few clicks actually. Of course, I'm explaining a lot at the moment while doing this, but I can go, I would say, in 20-30 seconds through this image or through these modules and already have a nice and fully or like to 80%, 90% post-produced image already, which is perfectly to show already or to put on Instagram. So that's absolutely no problem anymore. You can also, once you have installed these presets on your Lightroom Classic on your desktop, they will also automatically synchronize with your Lightroom mobile on your iPad or on your iPhone, for example, or on your mobile device or tablet or anything, where you have also Lightroom installed and linked to your Adobe account. The presets will also appear in Photoshop now. So if you don't have Lightroom or you want to develop your RAWs in Photoshop directly, then you have in Photoshop, when the RAW converter comes up, you have already the option to select also the same preset modules already. Yeah. So, but the best way I would always recommend is to work on these in Lightroom, of course. So, Nora, any questions so far to the presets? No?
Just one.
Yes. Okay. What is it?
Do we really need to do setting, or can we just? Is there any like presets that's already available online which you can download and put it here?
Yeah. These are on my website, belowsurface.com. You can find those in the shop, so you can download them. They are 59 euros per set, and you will get an install guide and also an how to use guide again, a small one when you're downloading the image, and also the two versions for the older Lightroom versions and also for the newer Lightroom versions. But I also just said they're also working in Photoshop and also in Lightroom Mobile. So basically, if you have this set up, for all the three devices, for the three apps, you're good to go actually. Yeah? So you can just download them there. But you can also, of course, download any free ones, which you can find somewhere on the internet, and just import here with the import settings. But those are probably, of course, not specific for underwater photography.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good. So I'm always can go back with reset all settings. I said that. This is also good. You can also put these things, if you right click on them, to add your favorites. So for example, reset all settings, I also already put in my favorite settings. So I always have it no matter what. I can reset my image to the version I had before. The macro, I go back to the library, and now we're going to the macro library. For example, like here, I start with this anemone fish, and we click on develop. And here, the macro Lightroom presets are built up also in a modular base, but are a little bit different, of course. But as you just saw it in the previous example for the wide angle presets, they are also modular based, as I said. So you first, it's the best if you go through the exposure. So maybe this is was a little bit too dark as here. So I maybe want to lighten this picture up a little bit. And then again, you go through the white balance. You see, okay, what do I want to select? Do I want to have like a more warmer color? Maybe I go to the auto setting, yeah, or to the daylight. Yeah, here, for example, I like a cooler color, maybe. Yeah, also the white balance, the automatic white balance setting of Lightroom is also not too bad. It's a different point. It's like where you want to and how you want to have your picture look like. If you set the white balance, it's not up to me to decide what is the best. You have to decide this. And this is why I like this setup of this modular-based Lightroom preset so much, because you can still decide how your image should look like, and you're not by any filter already set by the look. Yeah, so you can still decide, okay, what do I want? And it's very easy. You can just concentrate on the look of your image by scrolling over these settings and then just click on it. Yeah, very easy. So you can fully concentrate on the post-production and don't mind about what things and what sliders you want to click. Here underwater in the third module, this is like the biggest difference of the two modules. It's built in a little bit another way. There's a standard look, which also has a lot of changes here, of course, and also pushes the HDR and so on, makes the picture really more bright, as you can see here. Yeah, if I just hover over it, yeah, so it gives you like a really nice, bright, and also a little bit saturated look. But for example, if you have another picture with a black background, I can quickly switch to this image, for example, here. It doesn't matter here now so much. Maybe I'll get it a little bit brighter. But for example, if you have a picture with a black background with this candy crab, for example, then you can just click on this black background and your black background is really black afterwards. Yeah, so usually you have like a dark gray. It's not really 100%. 100% dark. You can also see it if you hover over it with your mouse here on the right side. You can see in the preview, in the histogram, you can also see there's still a little bit of color inside in the percentages that are changing. But once I click on the background, everything is on 0. So it's really dark black, which is sometimes important because some screens are brighter than the others, and you would see that it's not a real black immediately. If you have it on another screen, or for example, also on the projector, on a beamer, and so on, you can see that very quickly. So this is make sure that your black background picture is really black in the background. But we were working here on this image as well. We don't have a black background here, so this doesn't work. But here I have a few other modules which are actually more to play around. So these are more or less basic or like already finished looks, which you can just put over your image to see what it does. Not everything does really look good here, so you can try around what fits best to your image and then click on it. For example, I like here the algae green a lot because we got a lot of green color before already in the picture. So maybe this I like most. It's totally up to you. As I said, from some pictures, these looks are not working so good, these finished looks, but for some, or not all looks are working for all pictures, of course, I wanted to say. So you have to select the right filter, what you like for your image, of course. And then it's basically like in the other modules as well. You can still select the saturation. Maybe I want to have like a little bit of higher saturation here to pop the green out a little bit more. And then there's also a new module here, or another module. You can have like a little vignette around it. I like usually to have a vignette, as you can see here, to just emphasize a little bit more on the main subject, especially if you have something in the center. If you put a little vignette onto it, yeah, it just the view just focuses more on the center, which I like very much and use it slightly in a lot of images, but not too much. But if you want to push it a little bit more, you can also with the plus sign push the vignette more and more and more, even to have a look, an extreme look, which is almost a look like if you would use a snoot, for example. A snoot, if you don't know this, is a light former, which only points a small portion of light on top of the image. So you would only light up here in the middle. Yeah? If you didn't have a snoot for this image, as I had, I lighted up the whole image, of course, the whole anemone. But with this, you can always have the same effect of a vignette if you want this. Yeah, I know this is not the real stuff. I mean, usually you should be, or I'm usually prouder of my images if I can do a snoot, of course, from the beginning. So I usually don't do this afterwards, like a dramatic effect like this. But if you want to play around to see how it looks, maybe also for the next time when you're shooting, absolutely no problem. I think there are no restrictions in Photoshop as long as you are good with them. And as long as you also mention them, maybe, yeah, that this is a post-production effect. Yeah? But I think it's nice to have the effect anyways, to also see what it can do. It's very powerful. If you don't want it, you can also always go on off. But I like to have like maybe a slight vignette here and to just push the center of the image a bit more. And then the last two modules, again, are with noise reduction and also a little bit of sharpening. We can also have, especially here, I was shooting a 100mm lens, but I also have a lens profile corrections on automatic settings. So if you, for example, if you're shooting with a very short macro lens, like a 50mm or a 60mm, it's similar like in the fisheye, but not as strong, obviously. It bends a little bit the corners or the whole image. So if with this, you can straighten up your image again to make it look more real. If you want to have that or not, so you can try it out if it works for a shorter macro lens or not. So just play with the settings. Okay, so that's it basically from here. Are there any more questions from your side?
There's a question for you actually from Dira Di Kriadi. she asked, is there a preferred tone of blue for wide-angle pictures?
No, that's totally up to you how you want to have your blue. Yeah, I mean, there's no specific. I would never say you have to have this blue or so. Yeah, you have to like the blue of the wide angle images that you are taking. I can only say what I like most, and usually what I like most, this is also not post-produced image yet, I like a very desaturated blue. I don't like it so much if it pops out, really like this bonbon or this candy color blue, this high saturated blue. I don't like so much. I'm rather for a darker blue, not a darker blue, a light blue, but not too much saturated. I think is the most natural way, but you have to decide it by yourself. Yeah. So also with the shark, I think it's already quite nice background blue. Maybe you want to have a little bit brighter, but not too much saturation in it, I would say. Yeah. It's also here, if you want to develop this one quickly, to just give an example. I think it's already nicely lit here. Yeah, also the color, maybe I want to have it like a little bit warmer because then the shark skin comes out very nice. And then I'm sorry, I'm here in the macro module still. I'm going back to the wide angle module. So maybe I want to have like a little warm color here, very warm, to make the shark skin pop out a little bit more. And then you can go here with the contrast setting very nicely in here and do a lot of contrast. You can see that the blue is already getting quite dark. But here with the Lightroom, with the background module, I can here select the background more or again, and maybe this one's quite nice to get a really nice background. The whole picture is a little bit too saturated for me already. So I go here on very low or even on low. That would be nice to push a little bit saturation less. So I'm already very quickly now done with the settings. So you can already see the change already here in this image. Yeah, so more contrast, a little bit lighter blue. Yeah, but you can always go back to the settings, of course, and then reduce even more the saturation. Or if you like it, then you can always push it a bit more. But I'm more like for a little bit less dramatic look, a little bit less saturation for the blue in the background.
Tobias, if you want to create some kind of like a very dramatic, but like for example, this particular picture, if you want to make it a bit like a photo, like there's a story behind it, like very photojournalistic format, could we do that through Lightroom? Like say if our raw picture is not that fascinating, but can we tweak it in a way where it's a bit more enchanting looking?
Yeah, if I understood the question correct, yeah, of course. Yeah, if you click through these modules, you will get a view very easily on what is, to make the picture really nice. Yeah, so I still remember the settings which I just had. So if I go like this, very easy, very quickly through the module, then I'm already very fast on a level where, of course, yeah, the picture is better than before, more contrasts. Yeah, maybe I want to add even more contrasts here, which gives you very quickly a nice first draft of your image. Yeah, so this is where you can work on and take it already for journalism or whatever. Yeah, so this is already a first good step very quickly to work on this modules.
Yeah, it is very quick.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's any more questions. Hold on. Okay. Tobias, what would you advise an aspiring, Lightroom user to be able to download this application? Where can he or she download it? And is it free?
No, unfortunately, it's not free. Every module is 59 euros, and you can download it via my website. So I just can here go through my browser and see here is my website, for example, belowsurface.com. And here if you click on goods there at the moment, this is still my old website. I'm working on a new one, but if you click on goods here on the right, then you come to my shop, and there you can actually select the presets what you want. Also, all my books are here. listed, of course, but you can also always select only the presets, and there you can just click on Add Chart. You go to the chart, and then you can check out and easily buy them. And once you paid for them, then you can easily download them. You will get a download link via email where you can download everything and then install them.
I see. Okay. All right, people, it's not free, yeah? Yes.
No, unfortunately not. Yeah. So, yeah, this is. I mean, I'm doing underwater photography for a living, and I wish I could do everything for free and just enjoy. But of course, also planes do not fly for free, and to produce more images like this and to give more creativity or give more possibilities or to be able to create those Lightroom presets, of course. I have to fly somewhere and take some pictures and to work then afterwards with the Lightroom presets. So unfortunately, all the travels are also not free. And but I think also you get a good, or we have a saying also in Germany that if something is for free, then it's not worth it as well. Yeah. So I think you get a very, very good package here of Lightroom presets where a lot of work of me from me is inside actually. Yeah. So it took me weeks to actually develop them with a lot of test users as well and speak with them, of course. Yeah. What would be the best settings? So I put a lot of work into them as well. And of course, it has a price, but I think it's very low compared to the time what you're actually saving at the end, yeah? And also especially on your trips. Yeah, so this can really save you a lot of time on the trips, more free time, and quicker way to show the pictures to all the other guests which are on board or on the same resort, or to your friends which are also there, yeah? Or to just quickly send something to Instagram what you maybe photographed on the same day, and this is like really done in 1 minute. As you could see, you just click on a few settings, and then you already have the first goal, which is good to go on Facebook or Instagram or somewhere else where you want to present your image.
Well, we have someone here that actually replied, it is definitely worth the money.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, obviously somebody who already bought the presets maybe, yeah. So thank you very much for this, yeah.
So aside from doing these presets, Tobias, what else is in the pipeline with regards to photography innovation techniques you're trying to build?
Yeah, so there will also be like you mean like in creative, what are my next projects you're asking, or?
Yeah, that's right. Aside from photographing.
Yeah. Actually, actually, I don't know what's coming next because, of course, I mean, at the moment, it's been in the news that all the countries are opening up again, and we'll see what will be the first trip which I can actually do. There's still I hope that at least we can do some workshops starting again in Egypt, for example, in October and in November this year. So I hope for this will definitely be again flights available. So I'm usually doing a lot of photo workshops with wrecks and reefs and also the sharks in Egypt, in the Red Sea, on liveaboards, which is super nice, super cheap as well to be there on the liveaboard. And in Egypt, and it's very luxury boats usually, so it's and very reliable conditions usually in the Red Sea, very good visibility. So this is like my house reef from Germany. So from Germany, it's only like a 5 hours flight. So I can only recommend to everybody who's in Europe, of course, to fly to Egypt if he hasn't been, or if he or she hasn't been there yet. But otherwise, yeah, I'm also keen to go. I would like to go to Greenland again next year, of course, to shoot some more icebergs, if possible. Yeah, but yeah, at the moment, it's more like a waiting place at the moment, yeah, to see what happens, and then once everything's open, once we can travel again, then we can see what we're actually going to do.
Which is true. Do you miss the underwater world?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I've been diving in the lake last week, so at least we got to get in the water for once. It was quite cold actually. On the surface was quite nice. It was 22 degrees, but down at 13-14 meters, it's already 8 degrees in the German lake. So quite freezing, but still good to be again in the water and to feel the water. But of course, yeah, I'm looking so much forward to do the first tropical dive again, maybe in Egypt or maybe in Southeast Asia as well. I was also planning to go to Bali in August for a workshop, and also on the liveaboard afterwards, the Amira liveaboard. From end of August to mid of September, but I don't know if that is. I hope this is still going on. I hope this still can happen. Never say never, but I fear that this is also cancelled again, and that I have to wait to come back to Asia for a little bit.
I see. Let's see if we have any more questions. Just give me a moment.
I can maybe stop this, and I can also check maybe on the on Facebook to see maybe there are some more questions.
Oh, there's one here, but it's not on Facebook.
Yeah.
Is there a lifetime warranty to this presets?
Yes, kind of. Yes, of course. Yeah. So you can, I mean, there's no lifetime warranty about everything, anything, I would say. But of course, yeah, you can always ask me regarding the Lightroom presets, and as long as I live, yeah. So you're welcome to ask me any questions, yeah. So this will hopefully be a long time still, yeah.
Okay, let me just see if there's any question on this side. Oh, what makes you want to do or to create this preset? What actually pushes you to want to do it and provide it for others?
I mean, the main reason is that I can see that a lot of people are struggling with Lightroom and don't want to spend some time to know what's going on in Lightroom. And I just want to help everybody who's not have so much experience basically with Lightroom, and to be able to still post-produce the images in a very good way. Yeah? I see so many images also on Facebook or on Instagram, which could have been better post-produced very easily, actually. Yeah? Just a little bit more contrast here or saturation there, and then it would have been such a better image. And I can see that people are not going to the or that they still have something left to work on the images. I mean, the image is not finished post-produced. You can clearly see this, or actually not at all post-produced. So, and I just want to help them to have like just a better first raw draft of their image, to just be able to have like a better, also to have more followers on Instagram afterwards with the better pictures and so on and so on. Yeah. So it's of course a help to everybody also to be able to quicker post-produce the images while you're traveling. Of course, yeah, I said that that if you're in the evening, you don't, after like 3-4 dives in the day, you don't want to spend too much time going through the images. I always want to do this in the same day, so I usually try to work on my images every day. So I come back after a day, download the images from my camera, put them on my in my Lightroom, and then already see what are my favorites to select them, and then also already to post-produce them in a way that I can already see and feel what I already achieved in this trip. Yeah, so this is very important for me, that I check every day and then always go back to the summary and see, okay, what are the best images now for this trip? And I usually need to come back with like 15, 20 very good underwater images from every trip. And so I can really good see how the portfolio is building up through the days. Yeah? So this is really one of my major tools, also to control myself and also to see, okay, I missed something maybe, yeah. So, or maybe I did a lot of wide angle shoots, maybe, or I did a lot of macro shots. Let's put it in the other way. maybe in a dive destination where macro is the best to photograph, of course. But maybe then at the end you want to put like a little bit more wide angles into this portfolio as well, so I can clearly see how the portfolio is building up, what I have together, and I see, yeah, maybe there are some wide angle shots missing, so maybe for the next day I put on my wide angle to shoot a little bit more of this, or I can see it's really important to check it afterwards or every day, or at least as much as you can on your computer, because you maybe can see, oh, that yawning frogfish, I got it so good, but maybe the eye is not sharp, yeah, and then you can, damn, yeah, I have to do that again, maybe, yeah. So there you can really nicely see and check if the images are worth it, or if you need to continue to work on a specific subject or on a specific like wide angle or macro to build up your portfolio. So I think it's very, very important to be able to quickly go through in Lightroom and to be familiar with the software. And these Lightroom presets are definitely helping with this, because you can so quickly go through. You can also copy and paste the settings and put them over another image, so you can see what the same things do to other images as well. So very easy, basic setup. Yeah, I think it helps a lot of people. This is one of the main thing, of course, why I did this. Of course, also in the workshops, it's really nice when we usually have in the evening the image review talk, where I go through the images of the participants and to give them some feedback. What was good, for example, what could have been better, maybe with the lights in a different way, maybe stronger, lighter, whatever it's necessary to talk about in this image. But also we do a lot of Lightroom and there it's also for me super easy to just go through with this presets and just to have like a really quick first cut with the presets and to explain that to the to my workshop participants as well, what you can do with these.
There's another question which I don't know whether it's a good question, but this person asked if he were to use his, if he were to edit his pictures on mobile and also on his monitor, he noticed that there's some calibration problem with the output of when he does it on his monitor and when he does it on his phone. Is it possible that we can do it aligned together, where the output will still be the same, whichever format or whichever channel you use Lightroom from?
Yeah, yeah, that's a bit difficult, of course, because all the different devices have different monitors. Like a tablet, for example, has only a very small monitor, which is calibrated in his own way to, of course, is perfect for the software which is running on the tablet and not usually always for pictures. And at the same time, maybe you have a really, really nice desktop PC with an ISO monitor or something else, which is super nicely calibrated. And all these devices are, of course, having different colors. And but I don't mind so much about it. I'm using Apple devices, for example. They are all already quite good calibrated, but I can also see on a phone or a tablet, it doesn't have the real colors that I can see, for example, on my iMac. But this is quite normal. This is okay. You can enter the calibration settings of your device as well to fix it a little bit, to get some other color temperatures, to adapt it a little bit to the other devices, but I wouldn't mind so much about it. I would just be aware of it and say, okay, if you're working on the pictures with your tablet, for example, and you know that the tablet is usually oversaturating the pictures on the screen already, maybe you can then push and on the, for example, on your desktop PC, it looks very unsaturated, then you know this already, and you can maybe already increase the saturation a little bit on your tablet, for example, to make it also fit a little bit more on the desktop version. Yeah, but usually I don't mind so much about all these color calibrations from the monitor so much. I think it's rather better to get the first version on your monitor that it looks really nice. And the rest is like the last 5 or 10%, which go really in deep into all these color calibrations and stuff, which would probably cost me the whole day to explain it.
Okay, another question. For a beginner, Photoshop versus Lightroom.
Yeah.
Is better.
Yeah, I usually work to, I would say, 80% in Lightroom. So this is my library, which where I have all the images in, which is really nice to store all your images, especially on the chip. I don't use one big library for all my images. There's a lot of pros and cons about this, but I like to have one library specifically for one chip, for example, because there are already like 3,000 or 4,000 images inside, and I don't want to slow down the libraries so much. But also, if the file is corrupt, for example, you always want that shouldn't be like your last version, for example. Yeah, and if you have one big file with all the images in, and then this goes corrupt or you lose it, then you are also not. It's not very nice, of course. But I only do it because of the speed of the meshing. It's much quicker. But I think in Lightroom you can work a lot already. Like this is like usually my time to really finish on the post-production of an image in detail. You can do so much things in Lightroom already, like highlighting specific areas, darkening down already. And then when I'm finished in Lightroom and say, okay, this looks like I want it, then I export the picture to Photoshop, and then I go into all the small details. Like if there are any small backscatter left, I try to get it out. Yeah, maybe there's a very small point which is too bright, and I can darken this again. Yeah, so all these small things. Yeah, but not. It shouldn't be like a collage, so I don't remove things there. Yeah, but maybe if there's like a little fin of a diver in the background which I didn't see, maybe I remove this. Yeah, but you can do a lot of these things in Photoshop very easily, just to get it clean, and just for the last step, so to say, for the details, for the detailed look, then I save it, and it will automatically go back as a TIFF file in Lightroom. But it also means that you don't have the same capabilities like a raw image, for example. So you can still work on the image and still have all the possibilities again, like all the sliders are on 0, and you can push them like as much as you want, but the picture quality will go down by this. Yeah. So if there's something to do afterwards, I only do very small changes in the TIFF file, and then that's it, and I'll leave it like this.
Okay, so the idea is not to edit as much, but just to further enhance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can basically, Photoshop can do everything. It's just how my workflow looks like. Yeah, so you can do the same things with Photoshop as well, but I find it much easier in Lightroom and much more powerful in Lightroom to just quickly do these things. Yeah, especially with the presets, for example. You can do the same in Photoshop, but I would say the really ideal thing is to do that in Lightroom. That's why they're called Lightroom presets and not Photoshop presets. Yeah, but still, you can do this if you're more like Photoshop. You can still do this in Photoshop, of course, no problem. But I would always, like this is my way how to work. I would always say use Lightroom until you finish it, then export them to Photoshop, do the details, and then that's it.
Okay. Tobias, one last question. Can you give anyone who just want to start out on Lightroom 3 tips on how to be like you?
So say again, please. Sorry, I didn't get it.
So he said
anyone who starts on Lightroom is what?
No, let's say if someone want to test out to try out Lightroom, what are your 3 tips to for the fella to be as good as you?
Buy my Lightroom presets. I would say no. It's like it's about a bit of experience, of course. Yeah. So, but the more you look into a software, the more you work with the software, the better you know it, and then of course the better you can do as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Tobias.
You're welcome.
We're coming to an end of the session, and on Facebook itself, you have a couple of fans down there that wants your autograph.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for sharing with us all this information. And then, if anyone would want to sign up for any workshop with Tobias, how should they go about doing that, Tobias?
Just contact me via my website or via email, via Facebook or whatever. Yeah. So just give me a call there on any social media or whatever. Yeah. So I'm always reachable. No problem. Yeah. Thank you so much as well for your time and for the possibility to present the Lightroom presets here. And hopefully we meet next year in Singapore again. Huh?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Tobias. I hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you. See you soon too. Thank you for your work. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.